Alex had never given much thought to mirrors. They were just a necessary part of life, handy for quick checks before heading out, helpful for the occasional stray hair or crooked collar. But one evening, standing in front of the bathroom mirror, Alex noticed something unusual. At first, it was subtle. Maybe just fatigue, Alex thought, squinting as if a clearer look would reveal something sensible. But no, it wasn't tired eyes. As he turned slightly, his reflection seemed to linger for just a fraction of a second. It was as though caught in some invisible delay. He brushed it off and turned away, only to catch, out of the corner of his eye, his own image still facing forward, staring at him with an odd, almost knowing look. Alex's skin prickled. He hesitated, then turned back to the mirror, laughing to himself. "Maybe I need more sleep," he murmured, shaking off the eerie feeling. But as he left the bathroom, he felt the weight of something unseen lingering behind him. He brushed it off, attributing it to imagination, just nerves, nothing more. Yet, that night, as Alex lay in bed, he couldn't shake the feeling of that reflection, that tiny, inexplicable delay like a heartbeat out of sync. And somewhere deep inside, he wondered if perhaps something else was beginning to stare back. The next day, Alex tried to laugh off the strange feeling from the night before. But as he moved through his morning routine, a creeping sense of discomfort grew. It started when he passed the hallway mirror and noticed, once again, that his reflection wasn't quite right. This time, the reflection seemed almost impatient, as if it was waiting for Alex to notice. When Alex raised a hand to his hair, the reflection paused for just an instant before mirroring the movement. For the briefest moment, it seemed to lift the opposite hand, creating a distorted, unsettling image. Alex's breath caught in his throat. His pulse raced as he quickly moved past the mirror, telling himself it was just a trick of the light or his mind playing games. Yet, as he went about his day, he found himself glancing nervously at any reflective surface, shop windows, shiny countertops, even the glass of his phone screen. Each time, his reflection felt just a beat behind, a heartbeat out of sync. Friends noticed Alex's unease, asking if he was all right, but Alex brushed it off. Still, that night, alone in the dim light of the bathroom, he dared himself to face the mirror once more. Staring at his own image, Alex felt a strange sensation. A dull, buzzing pressure building in his mind, as though the reflection were straining against an invisible wall. He shut off the light and left in a hurry. Yet as he lay down to sleep, one thought haunted him. If the reflection was watching, what did it want? Days passed, each one stretching Alex's nerves thinner, fraying him with tiny, inexplicable moments. The reflection's delays grew more pronounced, its expressions, smirks, raised eyebrows becoming stranger. It began watching Alex with a malice that Alex felt all too clearly. One night, while brushing his teeth, Alex caught a strange movement in the mirror. Pausing, he leaned in, studying his own face. Suddenly, the reflection's mouth began to move, forming silent words. The sight froze Alex in place as he struggled to make out what it was saying. The silent motion was unsettling, a soundless monologue that sent a shiver down Alex's spine. What do you want?" Alex questioned aloud, voice barely above a whisper. In response, the reflection's lips curved into a sinister smile, its eyes narrowing. A flood of panic swept over Alex, and he stumbled back, away from the mirror. The room felt stifling, as if the air had thickened with a heavy, oppressive presence. The experience haunted Alex long after he left the bathroom. He stopped looking into mirrors, avoiding any reflective surface he could, convinced now that something terrible was waiting on the other side. And yet, despite his fear, a gnawing curiosity took hold, urging him to discover what the reflection was trying to say. The thought took root, growing more consuming each day, until it was all Alex could think about. He knew he was teetering on the edge of something dark, yet he felt trapped, unable to escape the influence of the reflection. Whatever it was, it seemed to linger just out of reach, waiting, watching, feeding off the fear that grew with every passing day. Alex stopped sleeping through the night. The reflection's presence had become more than just a faint shadow lurking in mirrors. It was everywhere, watching from every glimmer, every polished surface. The reflection had taken on a life of its own, manifesting in places it had no right to be. The rearview mirror in Alex's car, the darkened TV screen, even puddles on rainy days. It was as if the reflection had seeped into every part of Alex's life, feeding on every flicker of fear. Each time Alex looked away, the reflection seemed to grow stronger, smirking with an increasingly wicked expression as it mirrored Alex's actions. Sleep-deprived and jittery, Alex found himself talking to the reflection, asking it questions that no one should ever need to ask. "What do you want from me?" His voice trembled, barely containing the fear that had gripped him. The reflection, still and silent as ever, only stared back with a mocking glint, as if it knew the answer, but wouldn't reveal it. The boundary between Alex's world and the reflections had become dangerously blurred. Alex's friends grew concerned, some of them even suggesting therapy, but Alex ignored them. He couldn't risk explaining, couldn't bear the thought of anyone else seeing what he saw. Each encounter left Alex feeling more fractured, his sense of self slipping, his mind unraveling. He felt like he was being hollowed out, piece by piece, his identity slowly slipping away as the reflection grew bolder, more defiant, as if it were eagerly waiting for the moment it could break free. Desperation drove Alex to a breaking point. He'd scoured the internet, combing through every supernatural blog, obscure forum, and late-night chatroom, searching for a solution to this nightmare. One evening, he stumbled upon a ritual that promised to trap malevolent reflections. Alex didn't know if it would work, but it was the only hope he had. Armed with only a single candle and a shard of mirror he had kept hidden in his room, Alex set up the ritual, trembling as he arranged the materials. Alone in the dark, he lit the candle and faced the mirror, the flickering flame casting strange shadows across their reflection. "Show yourself," Alex demanded, voice shaking. "What do you want from me?" The reflection's face twisted into a dark, sinister grin, and for the first time, Alex heard it speak. Its voice was cold, hollow, echoing as though from a great distance. "I want what you have, a life, a body, a world." Alex's heart pounded as the reflection's image began to blur and shift, pushing against the boundaries of the mirror, as though it were about to spill into reality. Desperate, Alex shattered the mirror, the shards scattering across the floor. In the fractured pieces, Alex caught glimpses of the reflection's furious eyes, still watching from each shard, waiting for another chance to escape. For a moment, silence fell, but Alex knew it wasn't over. In the dim light, surrounded by shards of broken glass, he took a trembling breath. He felt the weight of the encounter settling heavily on him, but a small, fragile hope flickered within, as if he'd managed to keep the reflection at bay, if only for now. But as he gathered the pieces, something caught Alex's eye. A single shard lying in the far corner, angled just so. Peering down, he saw the reflection's eye staring back, glaring with a malevolence that hadn't dulled. A chill washed over Alex as he realized the truth. He hadn't destroyed the reflection. He'd only trapped it, confined it to a sliver of glass, still waiting, still watching. That night, Alex hid the shard in the darkest corner of his closet, locking it away. Yet, as he lay in bed, sleep a distant memory, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if the reflection was waiting for the moment it could once again cross over, reclaiming its place in his life. The mirror might be shattered, but the terror lingered, forever haunting the edges of Alex's vision, a nightmare that would never truly leave.